The difficulty with golf is that it requires a broad range of skills. You need good technique, brute force off the tee and out of the rough, the most delicate, refined finesse on and around the greens, and a solid mental perspective. Developing all those attributes really defines success in our sport, but unlocking them can be challenging. How many times have you felt there was no opportunity to practice? Everyone has time constraints, whether it be school, family, work, etc. We have a lot going on, and golf is a difficult sport with many facets requiring attention to maintain and improve. Maximizing productivity in practice is a dilemma for those of us loving the sport and wanting to get better. But when you finally get to the range or short game facility, how often have you not known what to do? And when playing, have you ever thought your practice did not match your on-course performance? I've done a lot of research on practice, and I wrote a book on it titled The Practice of Golf. So we're here to help. Preparation is really about efficiency. Too long is tiring and distracting. Too short doesn't meet your objective. Disorganization clouds your perspective. Golfers at every level must be organized and efficient when carving out time to practice. Remember being at the arcade and playing Whac-A-Mole? Every time you punched down a mole, another one appeared. It's the perfect analogy for how most players approach their practice. For instance, say you're struggling with short putts. When you finally get 30 minutes to practice, you dedicate the entire time to hitting putts inside 8 feet. Then you move on to the course and close putts start dropping. Great, but then you have another problem with contact on your pitch shots. Another mole appears. Get my gist? Practice should not be long or arduous. Really, it should be fun. Proper preparation involves principles that build consistency in all aspects of your game and a healthy perspective in your mind. Always have a plan and always make a point of working on each segment of the game. Over-preparing is preparing to fail. Make good habits. Habits regarding proper practice and positive perspective can shape your life far more than you realize. Routines grow stronger the more you perform them, and they enhance your subconscious guidance system. They create neurological cravings in your brain for more of the same. Those cravings play out in more automatic performance on the golf course, resulting in improved confidence, resistance to distraction, and of course, lower scores. When your practice is comprehensive and concise, you have an unwavering belief in it. Unwanted results will not faze you. You will operate from a place of knowing and trusting that good things will happen, and they will. There's a difference between practicing warming up for a round or warming down after playing. They're very different, and the elements should not be mixed. Practice sessions should have the purpose of making changes and improvement. They should not take place immediately before a tournament round or where you have to show off your game to your playing partners. They require significant focus and attention for periods of time, which can be tiring and distracting from your focus you need on the actual golf course. If you want to practice before an important day on the course, complete it hours before your tee time. Give yourself an opportunity to leave the range for a lengthy break to get some food or just rest in the clubhouse, and then go back out and do your pre-round warm-up. This approach will allow your body and mind to reset. Phil Mickelson does this quite often at major championships. A warm-up routine is exactly what it sounds like. You are just trying to warm up your body and mind. There should not be a lot of technical thought. You are operating from a place of competence, knowing you already have put in the work. Now it's time to have fun. Hit a big hook, a slice, a flop shot, or even an 80-foot putt. Anything that gets your muscles and nervous system going. Hit shots you might need that day on the course. If it's windy, hit some low punch shots. If it's firm and fast, hit some high, soft cut shots with your irons. There are 4 key physical areas of golf: putting, short game, which includes pitching, chipping, and bunker play; distance wedge play, which involves shots between 30 and 130 yards; and full swing, which is driving and iron play. The goal during a practice session is to spend equal amounts of time and energy on each of those 4 areas. Even if you're struggling mightily with one specific part, try to resist the temptation to dedicate a disproportionate amount of time to it. Remember, golf is an all-encompassing sport. Treating each area equally is the best way to build consistency, flow, and feel. And you'll see that if you don't fixate on a problem, often an answer will come to you as you're practicing something related. Repetition of your preparation programs primes your unconscious behavioral guidance system, which usually knows the cause of something that is amiss. It then sends a message to your subconscious mind to make an adjustment. This guidance system is sophisticated and adaptive, and you just need to feed it with the proper routines and allow it to work. Your unconscious mind is enormously powerful. It calls out fixes. Say, for example, you walk into your weekly staff meeting or class, and your mind immediately tells you that something is different than normal. Maybe the atmosphere is happier. Your unconscious guidance system tells your conscious that you need to be a bit more upbeat to match your colleagues. The same kind of call out occurs in golf when things break down. The fuel for it happening is routine. The two most important times in the day are just before you go to sleep and just after you wake up. These are your bookends, and if you learn to master them, you will quickly gain greater control in your life. There are great times to visualize good practice and well-struck shots. The mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imaginary. If you imagine hitting a golf shot in your mind with great detail, the same neural pathways fire as if you're hitting that physical shot. Incorporate as many senses as possible. What is the temperature? How does the club feel in your hands? What does the sound of impact make when you connect with the ball? Use color as well. See the ball flight as it flies against the sky in your favorite color. If you start to bookend your days with detailed visualization, you'll be surprised at how it improves your results. Routine is how you build memory and the kind of intention that creates inner confidence. It doesn't matter how many times you have failed in the past. It does not matter how messy or conflicted your life may be. You can develop confidence quickly by repetitive practice, allowing your subconscious to self-correct and your consciousness to feel positive flow. Chipping, pitching, and bunker play. Over the past 30 years, the PGA Tour player who has led the greens and regulation statistic has averaged between 71% and 77% greens in regulation. That means the best ball striker in the world misses on average 4 to 5 greens per round. So the finesse part of the game is crucial. Short game approach is completely different than the full swing. In a full swing, you want to generate power and resulting compression on the ball while it rocketing forward and landing in a general area where you may not be able to predict run out. Conversely, in a finesse shot, you plan to have the ball come out softly and you need to anticipate the roll. Distance wedges. Distance wedges between 30 and 120 yards can be awkward because these shots are longer than a finesse shot but shorter than a full swing. It's important to work with your instructor on establishing a technique that produces consistent contact. Good feel can develop only if you make contact with the ball in the same way almost every single time. Most better players hit distance wedge shots low and with a lot of spin. This kind of trajectory will give you the most control. If someone asks you to toss you a ball, you would not throw it overhand way up in the air because height makes it too hard to judge distance. It would be better to toss it underhand to the target with a boring flight. Another key fundamental for distance wedges is to vary swing lengths to produce different flights and distances. This approach may seem a bit technical, but it's important to have a reference point when hitting these awkward in-between yardages. Too many people struggle relying solely on feel for how far they hit their wedges. You should develop 2 standard shots for each wedge. A swing back to 9 o'clock where your left arm is parallel to the ground, and a shorter swing where the end of the club points more to your belly button. Full swing. Full swing technique is the most complex because there's so many moving parts. Some players like to do a little technique work at home in front of a mirror and the remainder on the range and the course. When you arrive on site, set up a station to video your swing, do a little warm-up, and then record shots. Make sure your camera is stationary, balanced on your golf bag, a range stand, or a tripod. Camera angle is very important because of out-of-line views will distort what you see. For down-the-line clips, set the camera waist high, pointing at the target between your feet and the ball, through your hands at address. For face-on, again, focus it waist high so you can see the club throughout the clip. Putting. All aspects of golf are important, but you will use a putter far more than any other club, almost half of the time. Lots of golfers believe that great putters are born, and you'll either have talent or you don't, but I disagree. Putting is an art that you can learn if you understand how to practice efficiently. There are 3 primary skills when it comes to putting. starting the ball on line, controlling speed, and green reading. In a proper training session, all three of these areas should be addressed. A quick technique check, followed by a random practice, and lastly, competitive games are the foundation for your preparation. Technique work is also called block practice. This is the only time that you should be hitting the same shot over and over again. The key is to understand what your tendency is. This should be worked out earlier with your instructor. And check through feedback through using video, drills, or observation of ball flight, and then move on. Most people spend too much time in this phase. Once you have a handle on your technique, it is time to move on to random practice, followed by competitive games. After the technique check is finished, move on to random practice, which involves never hitting the same shot twice. If you intend to replicate a shot in practice, be sure to change clubs, trajectory, or shot shape, or even the line, especially in putting. Golf is a game of adaptation, as each shot is individual and unique, and your goal is to recreate this distinctiveness in practice. You are training your mind and body for course conditions. Lastly, finish each phase of practice with some form of competition. There are consequences on the golf course when you hit a shot where you did not intend, and you must simulate course conditions on the range. Competitive games in practice can be against yourself or with someone else. This will strengthen your ability to hit committed shots on the golf course. You can deviate from this uniform preparation approach occasionally. There may be times when, say, putting is so far from where it should be that you need to say to yourself, I'm going to set aside an hour and work on the greens only. However, if you're serious about improving and you need to have structured practice with equal focus on every aspect of the game, do not make too many exceptions. Here are some drills. My book, The Practice of Golf, identifies dozens of drills and competitive games, but I'll go over a few of the more popular ones here. Putting. The start line drill. Locate a straight putt that's 8 feet in length and mark it with a chalk line. Use 2 tees to establish a gate for the ball to roll through. Short range drill. Hit 4-foot, 5-foot, and 6-foot putts 6 times from different locations. You must make 14 out of 18, and if you don't, redo once. Tornado drill. Place 4 tees around a hole 3 feet out, evenly spaced to form a cross, and repeat the process at 4 feet, 5 feet, and 6 feet. Take 1 ball and hit a putt from every tee, 16 putts. If you miss more than 3 putts, redo once. Draw back competitive game. Identify 9 different putts from 4 to 8 feet, and if you miss one, draw back the length of your putter and try from a greater distance. Continue until all 9 putts are made. Ladder drill. Place 6 balls in a line away from the green and work your way back, adjusting club and landing spot as you move further back. Scatter bunker drill. Place balls in different locations in a bunker with different lies and hit them to one target. Up and down game. Pick 9 shots around the green and try to get them up and down. If you don't accomplish your goal with at least 6, then redo once. Distance wedges. The cone drill. Place cones or another object in 5-yard increments out between 30 and 100 yards. Hit each shot to a different cone randomly. Closest to the pin. With another player, compete for who can hit more shots closer to each cone. Full swing. Single target 9 different shots. Pick a single target and with 1 club hit 9 shots to it. Low fade, low straight, low draw. Then medium height fade, medium straight, medium draw. And then high fade, high straight, high draw. Single target, multiple club. Take 3 clubs from your bag and pick a single target and hit each club to it, altering your swing for the correct distance. For more drills and competitive games, please check out my book, The Practice of Golf, and let us know if we can help.